Watch, listen, consume. Quit watching Ancient Aliens, you're melting your brain. Give it a day off. Watch some blade edits instead. Now whatever music you're listening to, scrap it, off, junk. Listen to some blading podcasts. Bladers talking to other bladers about blading. Sick. Consume. Get out there and buy some clobber. Last week we talked about Rob KELLETT and his wheel with KONJURE. We also mentioned there'd be an edit coming soon, and it's arrived. It's called Time. It's aligned with the theme of his wheel with the sand timer on there. There's clips from when he was younger. He's recreated footage of when he got injured and like him taking time out. And then there's a load of sick skating. It's like 6 minutes and 42 seconds long, or something there roundabout. I don't know why I've been trying to be that specific, but it's a nice length, loads of good quality tricks in there. It's a proper vibe with the Tame Impala soundtrack. Make sure you go and check that one out. Luis Corrales was on the Wax Toaster last week, and this week he's posted up his introduction to 4-dub. So that's Inline with 4-dub. They make grind plates, and I believe they've got a few other things coming in the pipeline. So that's really cool. Keep an eye out on that. Make sure you check out this edit, just over a minute long. I really like Lewis's style and what he's doing with skating. Seems like a cool guy as well. Make sure you check out that podcast. I like that he's wearing the grind plates. It's interesting to see that. I've certainly not used grind plates since. I had a pair of Puberty ones, which was a brand in the UK years ago. Big old fat glow in the dark ones. They were pretty sick. I think I had a keyring with it on and everything. Man, I was fully into grind plates and CDS Detroit Burgundies I had at some point. I'm sure I had some metal grind plates as well. Anyway, nice little touch. Keep an eye out for that last trick as well. Oh, can't forget, Time Cop Malcolm Hurd is on the beat on this one. I really do like a Malcolm Hurd soundtrack. Anthony Marchione has posted up Frap and Gap. It is ferocious. The skating has some velocity to it, man. It is wild. Still got loads of style though. I also like that some of the tricks, it's a bit rough and ready, but it's just all action. All action, Marchione. LUDUS have been pretty consistent with the posts recently. Last week they posted up 2. There's another one this week. Konstanziagasse. Definitely said that wrong. Head on over to their Instagram and you can work it out for yourself. Really cool style, nice vibe, interesting tricks. The Borklyn Zoo lot have posted up HALTEVERBOT, and that's potentially another name I've butchered. This is the place where people's names, the titles of edits and VODs come to get slaughtered. Make sure you check out that edit though. Nick Lomax has posted up, last month was flame emoji. Like, is he getting better or what? He's compiled the last month together into one little nice succinct edit. Mind blower. Lorb posted up tag team. It's just dead fun. It's just really good. Starts out with Parker booting a bin and Lorb gapping over it, and it just gets better from there. Macro Hood rollerblading from Demon Mac Russian. At least I think that's his name. It's probably not, and I've been stitched up again by Instagram. If you like a baggy fit on your skater, if you like a kind of 90s hip hop kind of beat, if you like those classic tricks, but also like something a bit current and relevant, this is your man. He's got all those things and a rock more. He gets nice and low in the tricks. He likes them cool groove tricks, riding out a long back royale, but then puts in a few new things in there as well, keeps it relevant. Geoff Phillip has got a VOD up. You can find the link in his Instagram bio. It's like $5, which in the UK translates to what? Less than a pint. And you're allowed in pubs now. So why don't you just hold off for a little longer and buy this VOD. Muzzle have got another little short one. These seems to be bi-weekly now. I really like how they're styled, the effect, and kind of where they're going with all their output and imagery. I really like that. Obviously solid clips from the boys, Bauer, Connor Pierce, the gang. Man alive, Broskow is back at it again. Another edit. There was one at the beginning of the month, and then previous to that it was mostly just stories, which have the 24-hour limit obviously, so it's up and it's gone. I heard that's the way he liked it, and I kind of appreciate that, you know, keeps him relevant but also like a little bit mysterious, and definitely leaves you wanting more. I mean, I think we'd be wanting more regardless of kind of his approach to it, but I like that it seems to be a bit considered, and I wonder if this is like a conscious effort. Is this now leading to something else? It is quite exciting to think about what might be coming. Anyway, super sick edit, composed, poised, just quality, just that full Broskow work. One that's coming soon from Soichiro Kanashima, Nagare. So keep your eyes out for this. It'll be released a week today. It's bound to be premiere. Frank Stoner's been up on the Mushroom Blading podcast, How to Be Unpopular. Man, this one is absolutely brilliant. If you're aware of Frank Stoner, you know what he's like, you know how gold he is as a guest and a writer. Some really, really cool opinions. They talk a bit about Lawrence from 50/50 Law, about him having to raise his arms more when he's jumping on tricks. They talk about his 3D printing. They also talk about being closeted rollerbladers, you know, not necessarily getting straight to it when people ask you, or you're talking about things you do, you'd be like, oh, I skate. And you know, and you know what the perception is with that skate. People just assume you skateboard, instead of just going in with the, yeah, I'm a rollerblader and being proud of it. They talk about how that actually does happen more often these days, which is a really good thing. There's also quite an interesting one about how maybe wrist wraps or wrist protection could potentially stop you from doing certain tricks, because you'll know that when you do certain tricks and your hands do certain things sometimes, like maybe you get a bit of like a tuck on your hand when you're trying to get a top sole in or something like that, or when you're doing top asses and you kind of open up your arms as well. If you're wearing a wrist guard, does that kind of like short circuit something in your brain, and then you just can't really do the trick? Interesting theory, loads of really good stuff on there. It's like 3 hours long, well worth a watch. So there's a new podcast on the scene, The Coping Box, based out of Australia. First guest, they've gone in high and hard with Tim Ward, who is kind of recognised as being like, you know, one of the best rollerbladers. He was doing all sorts of stuff for his time, inventing stuff. He was great on vert, mini, street. He could do the lot. Ryan Jacqueline even got him a bit stoned before his first ever NIST comp, I think it was, and he was like, oh, I doesn't normally smoke weed, and he thought he was trying to sabotage him, but Tim bagged the win. Not even the weed could slow him down, just set him free. He actually said it was one of his most creative runs ever. Loads of other good stories about being on the Warp Tour and smashing the bloke from No Need for a Name. All sorts of great stuff in there. Full of stories, just loads of great stuff. Wheelscene have posted up a new segment called The One That Got Away with Lewis Bowden. They talk about a trick that Lewis was trying to get. They go through like his tries, and then it like culminates in him actually not getting the trick. And they were just talking about how, you know, we don't really celebrate that. We don't talk about that a lot, and the process that like skaters go through. So that's really interesting concept. I know a few times they got slightly off track and they were like, oh, this is like, we're waffling on about something else which is not to do with it. But I actually found those bits really interesting as well. So they were talking about the coping box and Tim Ward. At the end of the show, he gave kind of his opinion on the state of rollerblading at the moment. Understandably, he felt like it wasn't as progressive. Now, before anybody gets triggered, and like they said, you just need to think about like where he's coming from. He's also not he doesn't keep that much of a close eye on rollerblading, and he was around at a time where it was, well, it seemed the most progression ever. So like if you're starting low, anything is progression, and it comes thick and fast. These days we're at a point where kind of progression is harder. But anyway, they talk about that, and I really liked how they dived into that. I really liked their just general stories anyway, about like interactions with police or just locals. I really like that. So hopefully if they do more of these, there are those little side note stories as well. I think that's a really good piece. And then back with Wheelscene's more regularly scheduled programming, they've had on Luke Naylor. Now Luke Naylor had a sick clip in Velo 6. He also filmed and was in rotation with Brian Wise and Coup de Holt. Another great interview. I really like the mix of podcasts we have at the moment. There's a new one now, all have different styles, all bring something different, and like fill in that gap. The more content the better, particularly like Dave's style, more of a journalistic background, and gets in there with the questions some others may avoid. Another great one, make sure you check that out. Sean Grossman has got a tee out with RYTHXM. I think that's how you say it. It's like rhythm with an X before the M. RYTHXM? Again, please let me know if I'm saying that wrong or right. Check out that t-shirt. Dancing at the disco is like having wheels on your feet. Same thing. That's according to the New Everything company, which is Duran Bickmore's venture with his brother Harbour, twin brother. They are releasing bearings. They've got new disco, ABEC 9, gold plated titanium bearings. Absolute quality. Parallel Collective have released some cozy looking beanies over there in Australia. I believe it's autumn. So they're slowly going into those colder winter months when a cable beanie will be ideal. Even though I don't think it even gets that cold out there. But it's just nice. Nice to have something cozy on your lid. And if you're in the UK, we're coming into the summer, but that no way guarantees it's going to be warm. Get a beanie for them days when it gets a little bit chilly on the Barnet. Them Skates and TooEasy have got new sticker packs out. You've got to check the one which is a picture of Lorb Parker looking like a right bunch of rascals. The picture is so good. It looks like it could be the cover of some amazing independent film, proper Sundance Award winner. Be safe, be seen. A message that didn't really sink in for me when I was younger, hence me getting run over 3 times. But I'm still here, so it's all good. What would you be seen in? A high-vis jacket or top. Now the skate company have come out with 2 high-vis tops. One is called the Flagger, the other is called the Labourer. You'll be able to guess straight away what the influence is, like a Flagger and a Labourer, that kind of high-vis gear they'll wear. I really like the way they're marketing this as like, you know, you could wear this and potentially you might get a little less grief if you're sneaking into places because people will just assume you're working. I definitely know someone who's done that before and got away with it multiple times. So it does work. I really like this, think it's interesting, nice and bright, brighten up your life. Treat your mother good. Get her a pair of them skates 909 Danny Beer Pro model as recommended by Vogue. So I know it's a bit different here in the UK. Mother's Day already been. In the US it's on the 9th of May, I believe. So Vogue have like put together a list of great things you can buy your mother because you love her. And the Danny Beer 909s are in there. I mean, why not? I don't know if my mum would really appreciate it, but they do look nice. So maybe if she doesn't wear them, she can just have them on the mantelpiece. I wonder if Vogue are recommending the Danny Beer calendar for your mother. Right, well I think that's it. Have a good week, like. Spotty dog.